What's up, and welcome to the Unreasonable Life 5-star business process workshop today. I am so happy to be able to deliver this workshop to you. We have a ton of value going into this workshop today. First, for those of you who don't know me, my name is Michael Ortiz Jr. I've been a massage therapist since 2006. Um, One of the things whenever I first started in my massage career is I always knew that I didn't want to work for somebody else my whole life, right? I knew I didn't know what I wanted to do, but I did know that I wanted to have my own business. I ended up falling into massage therapy as I was giving my wife a massage. Girlfriend back then, she was like, you know what, you're really good at this. I'm pretty sure she was like, dude, you're kind of a lifeguard right now, right? Like I need you to kind of maybe get serious about something. But I ended up going and checking out massage therapy as my path for life. And I ended up really enjoying what I learned in school. And so I've been doing that now for, I think I'm going on 20 years. So 2006, December 2026 will be 20 years in the massage field. And in that time, I went from going and working at Massage Envy for 5 years. I was building a clientele on the side and moved into my own business. And now I own two salons. Uh, have had up to six therapists working for me at one point, doing almost 500,000 in revenue. Um, and again, now I own two salons, and people kind of pulled me into the coaching aspect of it. Wasn't planning on doing that, but people started asking me because I was just sharing content, sharing things that I was learning in business. Once I started doing actual coaching with people, I really fell in love with that. And that kind of leads me to where I'm at today, where I am coaching therapists, helping them go from, 1,500 to, I think the last one of 1,500 a month to $9,000 a month in 4 months, you know, training people's therapists for them, implementing this business process that we're going to go over today as a part of my coaching program. So um, now I'm doing my own clientele. Last year, I did 168,000 in personal revenue, just in my business. When the last therapist I had working for me did 105,000 that year, working with me um, at my location. She's out on her own now in her own space, just like most of the therapists that work for me do or have done. So super proud of them for being able to do that. Um, so throughout this process of me, one, just trying to be successful in my own business, I was able to come up with some things that really worked and worked on a consistent basis, right? And so um, there are about four main things in business that I go over with my coaching clients, right? Four main things. The first thing we need to figure out in business is we need to figure out how to get clients in, right? In the Unreasonable Life community, these are the four main topics that we go over monthly. How to get clients in. Number two is we want to be able to provide a great service. So the actual thing that we do needs to be on point. Number three, we want to get clients back in. So we need to have some sort of way to make recurring revenue, right? We do not want to have a business or grow a business or depend on always having to get new clients in the door. We need to have some sort of way or mechanism to get people back in. And then the fourth thing is we want to nurture relationships long term. So we don't want to just get people back in one time. We want to get people back in for a long time, right? If I can put effort in to getting clients in one time and then get them coming back for a year, 2 years, 3 years, 8 years, we have a really good chance of success. Today's workshop, though, we're going to focus on number two, which is providing a great service, right? So it's basically what happens from the time people come in the door to the time that they come back for their next visit, right? So when we get this right, that's why I love teaching this workshop. When we get this right, the service part, when they walk in the door to when they come back in, this whole time frame, it makes everything easier, right? When we get this right, everything in business is easier. Getting clients is easier. Getting them back in is easier. Life is good, right? Now, this is basically like an ever evolving process. If you have any questions, just comment. I'm happy to answer them during the workshop. But this is an ever evolving process, as it should be, because I'm always trying to improve it. I'm always trying to get better at this process. But it's more the details that change, not the overarching 5-step process, right? Now, my goal in business is to outcare my competition, right? And these 5 things are exactly how I do it. Okay. I call this the S.E.R.V.E process. S.E.R.V.E. S.E.R.V.E. The S stands for seek friction, right? Now, when I go into a business and I help them, the first thing I do is I run through their process as a client from start to finish. I want to see what it's like. I want to feel the experience, right? My goal is to find the gaps of where they're losing money, and I want to identify any friction points in the process that could be contributing to that problem. Then I want to give advice around fixing that problem, getting rid of it completely, or just upgrading the experience in this area, or how can we make this problem a neutral, right? It's not good, it's not bad, but we can make it a neutral or a non-event, basically. So when you're thinking about your business process, you need to be thinking, what are the minor inconveniences in my process? Where are the friction points, right? It's these areas that are like maybe not, they're not great, they're not terrible, but they're not great, right? So we have these minor ones. And then we want to think about what are the bigger reasons that could be stopping people from coming in at all or coming back in, right? So we're going to look at every area of the process. I'm going to give you a few of those, but every area of your process we want to take a look at. And it starts at your website, right? The website, a lot of times, is one of the first areas that your clients are going to interact with your business, right? So, number one, is it easy to find, right? I just gave a coaching client a little advice because her business name, to type in her business name, is very hard, right? She changed the way she spelled her name um, to make it the French version of it. And for some reason, I just couldn't get it. I'm like, okay, so tip number one, I'm like, this is hard. If it's hard for me, it's probably hard for somebody else, right? So that, like, how easy it is to find your website. So when you're thinking about a website name, you want to think about what are people going to be typing in? Okay. Can I easily find the information that I'm looking for? Is it easy to navigate that website? Or do you have 100 different services to choose from? Right? This is just going to cause decision fatigue for people. You can have 100 different services, but on your website, you need to be focusing on the core services that you provide, because we can upsell on the back end. So we don't need to list every single service that we provide on our website. We just need to have the main things that get our target market into our business. If you have so many options, you're going to cause decision fatigue. People are going to choose to do nothing instead. It's the same thing when you're marketing your business and you feel overwhelmed because there's so many different things to do. And so you do nothing instead. Right? So have you really gone to your website or had a trusted friend go to your website and see what that experience is like for people from the client's perspective? That's what I would recommend. Scheduling, right? How easy is it to schedule with you? Are you answering the phone at all? Let alone, are you calling? Or if you're not able to answer the phone, are you calling people back quickly? Or are you waiting 3 days? Or what most businesses do, never calling back, right? Like, I'm being honest when I say the bar is low, guys, for business. Like, if the bar is low, I literally just called a client back like a couple of hours after she called, and she was blown away because she had called 4 or 5 other businesses and they just never called back. And just because I called back, she booked. She literally said, "Wow, I can't believe you called back." Like, that's how low the bar is in business. Now, most of us as solo service providers or whatever can't answer the phone, especially for me. I'm in service. I'm doing hands-on work, so I can't answer the phone, right? So you need to decide, is it time to hire a phone answering service? I wouldn't if you don't have a ton of revenue. I use a service called Lovage, which is an AI answering thing. It's not expensive. It's like, depending on the call volume, like I think it maxes at 150. Right. Yeah, I got that same response from a client. I had called. She said, "Thanks for the quick response." Like, if you could just respond quickly, you're like, people are going to view that as great service, because the bar is low here, right? So I use a service called Lovage. It's like 75 at a minimum, 150 max, depending on the call volume. And it's a little AI voice that um, will, no matter who calls and no matter what they choose, it sends them a text message to book a call with me at my Calendly link, or to book an appointment on my online booking. So that has been allowed me to be able to capture some of these appointments for these phone calls that I miss, and then I try to call everybody back in between my appointments um, when I can. Right. So what about when they arrive? Oh, actually, do you have any online booking at all? Some people like this, some people don't. I highly recommend it, because if you are a solo provider, you're going to be in session. Like I said, you're going to be in session, and you're going to need some other way for people to book with you, right? Hey, Lainey, thanks for being here. Okay. What about their arrival experience? Like, this is something we don't think about. Is your business easy to find? Right? Mine isn't. This is one of the areas that I pay attention to. My business is not easy to find. We are in the back, behind the main buildings. I purposefully look for locations like this because I want a cheaper rent for my salons. Plus, I mean, drive-by traffic is great, but most people are looking online for businesses nowadays than they were before, right? But it's not easy to find, right? We're located inside of another business, which is still, I own the salon as well, and we're not visible from the main street. People get lost, they can't find it. So what did I do? I made a video from the street, videoing where to go, right? You're going to turn here at this spot. You're going to go back all the way up to the front of my location, and showed them what the front of the building looks like. And this is on my website. And this is a video that I also up-leveled that, and then described what they can expect on their first visit. So what do I want them to do when they arrive? The door at my spa is locked. This is another friction point in my process, because I've seen so many of my other renters not fix this in their process, and their clients are walking up to the door, they click the handle, and there's this point of confusion. That's a friction point. It's a negative in the process. What do I do here? The client's thinking, what's going on? Are they locked? Are they not here? Did they forget about my appointment? I don't want them thinking any of those things during my process. So I text them what to do. I also now made this video, which tells them everything they need to do before they arrive. Hey, when you get here, shoot me a text, wait in your car, and as soon as I'm done cleaning up, I'll come open the door. So my clients wait in their car. They know exactly what to do. And Lainey, you don't actually need I mean, the website is great. You should get one eventually, but if you just do a link tree, that's fine too. You can have your booking link there. But to be able to get found on Google and stuff like that, you're going to want to, in a Google profile, you're going to want to get a website. So that's what I did to elevate that negative experience in my business, right? This, like I said, it's a friction point. However, I'm not really willing to get rid of the door lock, to remove that, because I don't have a front desk person. And when people just walk in, at my other salon, we did leave the door unlocked for a little bit. People started walking in and just going in the providers' rooms, and I got estheticians in here with butts in the air. Can't have that. You know what I'm saying? So we had to lock the door, and we had to tell those renters, this is what you need to do, so to make sure that this part of the process, this door being locked, is not a problem. We had to minimize minimize the impact of that friction point in the process. Okay. Now, most people are okay with just about anything as long as it's communicated up front, right? So most people are okay that the door is locked. We just have to do a good job of communicating that expectation up front. So, like I said, I text all of my clients to wait in their car when they arrive. Let them know that I'll come up as soon as I'm done cleaning and getting the room set up, and I'll meet them at the door. We also communicate all other possible issues, right? There's a nail smell. Some people like that, some people don't. But I tell them up front, by the way, we have a nail tech here. There is the acrylic smell when you walk in. I have essential oil diffusers going to minimize that where I can, but it's still a part of the process that some people don't like. We minimize the impact of that by communicating that up front. Okay? I use coconut oil, right? Some people like that, some people don't. Some people have allergies. I want to communicate that up front. I use doTERRA essential oils regularly. So if you don't like essential oil smells, this could be an issue for you. We communicate that up front, right? That we're by appointment only and that you can't just show up and buy gift cards or book an appointment. Like, you don't show up at my location. I'll be in a massage. You'll be waiting here. You'll have wasted all this time. That's a friction point, a possible friction point, right? What about the parking? Right? These are things I think of when I'm going into somebody's business. What's the parking like? Do I have to park super far away? When I'm looking for a new salon, the parking is one of the main things that I look for, because I want to make sure there's ample parking. Because when I go to somebody's salon or somebody's business and I can't find parking and I have to park far away and then hike over to their business, it pisses me off. I'm like, this is ridiculous, right? It's not a good first experience, right? I won't even open a place if there isn't plenty of parking. I do not want my renters, who are my first customer, or their customers, or my clients as a massage therapist, to have to walk 30 seconds or more before they're able to get to the door. I don't want that, right? That's a friction point. But like I said, you can minimize any of this by communicating it up front, fixing it. You can either fix it or find a solution for it, or just communicate it up front. What's the experience when they first walk into your business, right? What happens when they first come in? What smells do they smell? What environment do they see? Is there paper on the floor? Is there hair on the floor, right? I remember when I went to check out somebody's business, I walked in and I was just standing there. Not knowing what to do. I walked into a whole nail salon, had a bunch of people staring at me. Nobody greeted me. Nobody said, how are you? Nobody said anything. And there was a moment of confusion. That's a friction point, right? I just stood there awkwardly until the therapist came out. What smells are in the space? Are the bathrooms clean? Right? If you're not in charge of these things, get yourself in charge of these things. Right? These are a part, even if you're renting from somewhere that has a bunch of other people in it, that is all still part of your process and your business. So just because you're not the owner of the salon does not mean you don't take responsibility for what your client sees when they come in. Right? Even if it's a common area, my client is affected by that area. So even though it's not my job, I took ownership over it. Before I owned this salon, I took ownership of it. I wanted to make sure there was towels in the bathroom, that the toilet paper was stocked. Right? I took ownership of the entire place before I ever owned it. I believe that's one of the reasons I actually even own this space today, is because before I owned it, I acted like it was mine. What's up, Sarah? Thanks for being here. We're doing the 5-star business workshop today. Thank you for joining. Right? But before I ever owned that space, I took ownership of it, even though it wasn't mine. I made sure that the space was clean, that toilet paper was stocked, that hand towels were stocked, right? All of that. What's the greeting like in your first impression? Sarah, it's always good to see you too, right? How's the client greeted when they come in? How are you showing up? What's your energy like, right? Does the client feel welcome? Or is there like a good amount of awkwardness coming from you when they come in, right? Like you want people feeling like they're at home. Right? How would they feel like how would how would they feel if you greeted them like you were their favorite, like you were they were your favorite person? Spit it out, bro. Right? Are you excited about them being there? This is your first impression, right? The last impression, now don't get me wrong, the last impression is way more important. It isn't, you can make up for a bad first impression with a great last one. But we don't want to have to do that. We do not want to have to overcome a bad first impression. It's too much work. Right? Think about when you go to somebody's house that made you feel welcome at home versus somebody who was like blah about you being there. Let's give them that welcoming experience when they walk in. What's the experience like when they walk into your room? What do the clients feel there? Do you have clutter everywhere? Is the table cold or is it too hot? What do the sheets feel like? How's the face rest feel, right? Quality is in the details. What's the music like? What smells are they experiencing? Do you smell? Do you have BO? Believe it or not, this is a common thing that I hear from clients. Do you smell like cigarettes? Does your breath stink? Right? All of these things are real things that people have complained about. Right? And then the actual service, which we're going to go over. Did you find the right pressure? Did you find the right area? Did you work on the area for the right amount of time? Are you cutting into them with your fingernails? Are you really giving their areas that they need focused on the attention they deserve? Right? If you're not a massage therapist, are you on your phone when they're coming in, when you're greeting them? Are you complaining about your life to your clients? Yes, I put that in here because a client told me that her last therapist was complaining about her finances and then asked her to buy a package so she could pay her bills. Like, what are we doing? This is what, again, going back, this is what I mean by the bar is low here. Are you showing up late? Are you constantly running behind? Right? Again, all you have to do is really pay attention to what people who give you a service do and see how the things they do really make you feel. Right? Pay attention to how you feel. Right? We let a lot of stuff go as clients from businesses, but pay attention to how it felt before that. I went on a date night with my wife, um, and there's a little bar right by our house, and we would go and we would just have a quick dinner, eat, talk, and I had to go up to the bartender 2 times because she wasn't coming to check on us. Now I let it go because it's convenient, and we go, right, and it's just we can walk there. But before I let it go, I was annoyed. Right? Every time I went up, she's in a conversation. I would feel bad for interrupting her conversation, even though she's supposed to be serving me. I'd rather not have to do that as a client. That's what I mean by pay attention to how you feel. Right? If that was my business, I would have to go and have a conversation with her about that and see what we can do to fix it. If that business had hired me, that would be one of the main friction points that we need to bring up. Right? Because when it's not that way and you serve me really well, now I have nothing bad to say. The food is good and the service is good. Wow. This is just what most businesses do not care enough to do something about or take action on. All right. So the first step in this 5-step process is to seek friction. Okay. That's S in our acronym. The second is we want to elevate trust. Now, elevating trust, we went over some of the elements, right? Like your website. But this, a lot of times, elevating trust in your process will start with your marketing, right? Because ultimately, marketing is the main thing you do to build trust. So, videos, reviews, education that we are the solution to the problem, right? If they booked an appointment, it's because you either elevated trust or you reduced risk, right? So we really want to focus on trust building activities. Like I said, videos, education, reviews, testimonials, all of those things are trust building activities that you want to be engaging in. Now, once they come in, just because they are in our building does not mean that you are done building trust, right? One of the absolute best ways for you to build trust and connection is a proper consultation. Now, in my opinion, this is one of the most important parts of the client's experience, right? So you need to be thinking, is your current consultation elevating trust in your customer's mind? Is your current consultation elevating trust in the customer's mind? In our consultation, we want to seek first to understand before we are understood. Most of the consultations that I have received from massage therapists or really any business are very surface level. What issues are bothering you today? Cool. Let's start face down. It's literally been like that. But if you want to actually elevate this part of your process, the client must feel understood. They must know that you have a good understanding of what they are going through. Because when you seek to understand, that is what builds trust. This is not your time to show off how much you know, right? This is your time to listen. So, taking your time here in the consultation and asking good questions, that will show that you actually care. Like I said earlier in this workshop, I want to out care my competition. And this is one of the main places that I do it. Yes, I do it through the whole process where we're seeking friction and we're trying to elevate all of these little experiences. I want to insert care in every part of the process. This is one of those big areas, right? Again, we want to take time and ask questions here. The point here is gathering enough information that allows you to really understand the client's areas of concern. Again, we want to build trust, and we want to get enough information that it allows you to formulate a treatment plan. So you need to ask yourself, do you have a process for your consultation? Okay. Here are some of the elements of a great consultation. Sloan, thank you for being here. Right. Here are some of the elements of a great consultation. First, we need to figure out where they are now. What is the pain now? Right. This is the problem awareness phase. What's hurting? What's standing out for you the most? Where are you experiencing the most pain? What is it stopping you from doing? Right? What's life like for you right now? Right? You want to help them become keenly aware of the pain that they are currently in. Why? Because most people brush their pain off as normal, right? But when you just start asking questions and helping them develop a clear picture of what life is like for them right now, when you start asking good questions, then it brings their pain into their conscious mind. Pain is not normal. It's not normal. We as a society normalize it, right? But if we don't understand that our pain is a problem, then there's nothing to do about it. If our pain is normal and it's no problem, then there's nothing to change. So we have to bring their pain to their conscious mind so that there is something to change. We have to help them realize that it is a problem. that there is something on the other side of this. There is pain freedom on the other side of this, right? So the questions you ask here must cause them to go deeper. So how you ask the question is super important. Your tone will be the deciding factor in whether they go deep or not, right? Because if I just ask you, well, how's that pain affecting your day? They're going to say, oh, it's not really affecting my day that bad. It's surface level. But if I say, how's that pain affecting your day? Just the way that I ask the question is going to cause them to go deeper. You know what? It is affecting my day. I always have this dang headache, right? You'll get better answers and you'll help them realize better. So we need to ask better questions, and we need to focus on how we're asking the questions in those moments. So number one is we want to get a clear picture of where they're at now. We want to help them realize that their pain is a problem. Number two is we want to figure out what the dream is. What's the dream outcome that they would like? Right? What would you like to experience more of in your life? Right? If you did achieve those results, what would that feel like for you? What would you do if you weren't in pain every day? Right? The third thing we want to do is we want to find the gap. And it's not necessarily in these orders that we're going to ask these questions, right? But the gap is key, right? Because they're like, oh, I've been having this pain for a while. Well, how long has that been bothering you? How long have you had this issue for? How long have you been feeling this way? Right? Because again, that's one of the things that helps them realize, wow, this has been a problem. I've been dealing with this pain for 13 years. We want to create that gap in their mind, right? The fourth thing we want to do in the consultation is we want to reset expectations. Okay, this is key. This is the one of the other key areas is we must reset the client expectations on what the results are. What can we expect for results? Right? What can we expect for results? What can they expect from pressure? And we want to frame what they should be feeling. Right? So if we can do that, so we want to reframe what the results are. So we need to figure out what they're expecting. What are you expecting out of today's session? Then they'll give us an actual answer, and then we can decide if that is realistic or if we need to reset their expectations, right? If they're at a constant level 8 pain and they have been for 5 years, is it realistic that we're going to get that to a 0 in one session and they're never going to need to come back? No, it's not. So I tell them what is realistic, right? And that way they know exactly what to expect. And I have an attainable goal for my session today. Now, if that, let's say for me, what I do is I tell them I try to get a 2 to 3 point decrease in pain. This is fairly realistic for my type of work, right? So a 2 to 3 point decrease in pain is realistic. Now, if I exceed that, great. They are happier than ever, right? But I know the likelihood that I'll be able to get this decrease. Now, if I'm not sure, I'm not going to lie to them. If I'm not sure what the pain level decrease will be, I will tell them that. Hey, with your condition, it's not something that is typical. So I'm going to be honest with you. I don't know what kind of decrease we're going to get, but there's a couple of things that I'd like to try that might work, right? And I'll tell them one is this way, and then we'll have to see how you react afterwards, right? Another way might be this way, which we'll have to do on another session. But I'm not sure which way will be the best approach until we actually do it, and then we see how your body reacts to the treatment, right? But I'm already in that. I'm already setting them up for more appointments. Okay. And then again, real results. We want to reset expectations, and then What's up, Kyle? Thanks for being here, brother. We want to reset expectations around results. And as massage therapists, you want to reset expectations around pressure. If you're a plumber, right, you want to do the same thing. You want to set expectations, right? For example, I called a plumber one time to fix this thing under my sink, and they're like, "Oh yeah, to fix that, it's going to be $125." That is now my expectations. When he gets here, he looks at it, he goes, "Oh, I didn't know it was like this. So it's actually going to be $250." Well, this really doesn't match my expectation at all. And now I feel like he's ripping me off, right? Because he didn't do a good job of setting realistic expectations. What he should have done is said, well, if it's this, it'll be 125. But if I get there and see this, or this, it's going to be more. Depending on the scenario, it could be anywhere from 150 to 350 bucks, but I won't know that till I get there. If that's the case, he tells me that up front, that I'm expecting that. This is the first time anybody's ever done that to me, so that was kind of right. If that's the case, I was expecting that, and it's fine. Now I don't feel like I'm being ripped off, right? The next thing we want to do is we want to explain the process. Yes, this is for massage therapists, but this goes for any business, plumbing, handyman, any service-based business. You want to explain the process. Tell the client your plan for the session or your plan for the visit. This builds trust, right? When somebody has a plan, they appear more trustworthy, right? Because the clients have an expectation of how things should go, whether they know it or not. When I had a handyman come out and do certain things at my spa, like took down a wall, I have an expectation of how things should go. I have no idea what I'm doing or what I'm talking about, but I have an expectation, right? So, but when he tells me, okay, here's all the things that we need to do in this process, what it actually did was it justified his price. Because I'm like, oh, I had no idea that it took that much to take down a wall, or that you needed to do this many things to take down a wall, right? So your clients have a plan, they have something in their mind of how the session should go. And their thoughts are the silent killer of their experience, right? So we want to stop them from wondering what's going to happen next. We want to keep them in the moment. So by simply explaining the process of where I'm going to start, what I'm going to do next, and where I'm going to end, it completely allows them to relax because they already know what's going to happen. They are not wondering when. If they're coming in for neck pain, they know exactly when I'm going to hit their neck. They know I'm going to start on their neck, and they know I'm going to flip them over and do their neck again when they're face down, right? And if there's any deviations in that plan, what do? We communicate them. It's really that simple. So the first step is seek friction. The second step is elevate trust, whether that's in your marketing or all throughout your business process. Trust is key in business. Okay? So we have the S-E-R. R is for results. There's a saying that I like that goes, do what you do so well that I want to come back and bring my friends. Do what you do so well that I want to come back and bring my friends, right? The actual service that we provide, our product, the main thing that we do, that we offer, needs to be amazing. We must deliver results. We must. We must deliver results and nail the service part of our business, right? When we get this down, this is why it's one of the main things that I focus when I hire therapists. I focus on improving their massage. I need your massage to be on point, and the experience that you provide around that massage needs to be on point. Because when we get this down, everything is easier. Everything. If your massage is awesome. If your haircut and color is on point, if your facial gets results, if your plumbing work is top notch, if your handyman work is top notch, and the experience you provided is on point, even if you're not good at marketing, you should be growing, right? You should be growing at least a little, even if you don't have the other things in place, even if you're not good at sales, right? But this is an area that should always be improved on. The craft, the main thing that you do must be on point. And it's not talked enough about by business coaches, right? They're always talking about sales and marketing and target market and all that stuff. And I understand that's what most people think they need. But most of the time, your service is crap. I'm just going to be straight up with you. We know that because when we go out and we experience other people's massages or other people's businesses or other services that other businesses provide, we are constantly disappointed. We are constantly not happy with the level of service that we received, with the results that we received. I asked a room full of new massage students, hey, has anybody here had a massage before? All of them raised their hand. I said, awesome. How many of you have had a bad massage before? All of them raised their hand. I said, perfect. How many of you told the therapist it was bad? Not one person raised their hand. What does that mean? That means that people are disappointed with your service and you're never going to hear about it. You're never going to hear about it unless it's really bad and they leave a review online. And then a lot of you chop it up to like, hey, they don't know what they're talking about. That was a stupid client. I don't like them anyways. And you don't even really fully listen to the feedback, right? We have to have our service down. So many business people say that actually, I used to say that success is 80% sales and 20% being good at what you do. I actually disagree with that now. I believe it's at least 50% to 80% being really good at what you do and like 20% being great at customer service, you know, 20% being good at sales, right? Somewhere in there, right? The reality is that if you are just top notch at your craft, like over the top good at what you do, you're going to grow. People will just let some of the other things go, but not having those other things will still hurt you, right? It might slow down growth, right? If you don't have good systems in place, all of that stuff is important. And will just allow you to grow faster, right? So how do we get better at our craft? First is just continuing to get educated. Now, this is one of the reasons I tell most new people who are in some sort of service business, like you need to go work for somebody else, right? You're a massage therapist, you're an esthetician, you're a hairstylist. Go work for somebody else, hone in your craft, get good at what you do, educate yourself, get reps in. You need reps in because when you come out of school, you go right into business. Nobody cares that you're brand new to your craft. They expect you to play on the same level as everybody else who's been doing it for years. So you have to go and learn and get those reps in under somebody else's brand. That'd be my best advice, right? But you need to continue education, right? I believe in person is always best. Every time I learn something new, I get a renewed passion for helping people. Every time I learn something new, I also realize how little I know and I get hungry for more knowledge, right? So there's been many services, many techniques that I've learned that have been like game changers for me. ART was one of them. When I took Thai massage, that was one of them. Now FST or Frederick Stretch Therapy is one of them. Right? They've all been game changers and have allowed me to get better results for people every single time. Right? So, and what does that do? When I take somebody who has a lot of pain and I get them zero pain in one session now because I have these other tools in my belt, my confidence goes to the roof, right? How much selling do you think I need to do to get that person back in or to get that person to refer me clients? When they came in at a 7, 8 pain and they leave at a 0, how much selling do I need to do? 0. They're asking me when they should come back in. I'm just making a recommendation at that point, right? So we need to get better at our craft. The better we are at our craft, the better results we can get, the easier business is. It's that simple. It takes time though. It's not something that happens overnight. Okay. Second thing we need to do is we need to get feedback from our clients. Now, I understand that this is easier said than done. Most people will lie to you, right? If they don't like what you did, just like we talked about in the massage class that I was talking to. Most people aren't telling you that they didn't like it. I went to the gas station the other day for ice cream. They're like, "Oh, 1 scoop." Now, the old gas station people that used to work there, I'd say 1 scoop, and they packing that thing, right? They're putting ice cream in there, more than 1 scoop. They're giving me more than I expected. Now, 1 scoop, $2.50 for 1 scoop of ice cream. That's like this big, right? They put it in there. I silently said to myself, "We're never coming back here for ice cream." I didn't tell them, right? I'm not coming back here for ice cream because I don't want to hurt their feelings for whatever reason, right? I'm just disappointed. My expectations weren't met, and I'm silent about it. I'm not going to go leave a review. I'm just never coming back here. They have no idea, right? So yes, I understand. You have to ask. You have to pull feedback out of your clients. Because if you just ask, how are you feeling? How was the session? Most of the time, they'll just say it was good. They'll leave. They'll never come back, and they'll tell other people what they think. They'll tell them what they really think, right? So what you could do is you can ask, hey, what did you like or not like about other massage places that you've been to, right? This is great insight to what they actually think. They'll tell you about somebody else, but they'll rarely tell you about you, right? They're happy to tell you about why they did or did not like their last service. So that is key information. Number one, for all clients, but especially for the client in front of you. What did you like? What made your last service really good? What made your last service? What was the reason or reasons that you didn't like your last service? The second way is just customer surveys, right? I used to send out a survey to every new customer asking specific questions, not just hey, how was your experience? Like specific questions. Did the therapist find the right pressure on you yesterday? Were they able to pinpoint your problem spot that you came in for? Did they work on that area for the right amount of time? Specific, right? Was the draping good? Did the therapist, was your pain reduced? Were they able to get a reduction in pain? Or did you leave feeling the same or worse? Right? I want these answers. This is the best way for me to help my therapist improve. I don't get those, I get those answers. And then again, I'm able to now actually have something I can coach the therapist on to help them improve. Okay. So many therapists and many business people, we have an arrogance about us, right? Again, I believe that it has to do with the fact that we rarely ever hear anything negative about our service. So hearing this stuff can be hard. But if you have the right attitude, it should keep you hungry to learn and improve. The third thing you need to do is be thankful for complaints. Complaints, when a customer is actually complaining about something, this is real feedback, the raw feedback. I might not like how you're saying it, right? But if I can get past that, there's always something to learn, right? I might even get upset at first. So I know me. If you leave me a bad review or something on Google, I get mad first. So I have to take time before I respond. I got to take time. But after reflection and reading between the lines, there's always something to learn, right? A guy left a 1-star review because we didn't answer the phone, right? We were closed. We were closed, right? But what did I learn? Well, I learned that, hey, your business hours aren't correct online. He didn't know, right? That was my mistake. That could be mad. Hey, bro, we close at 5. Well, online it says 6. That's a problem. Fix it. A longtime client was appalled at how one of our therapists answered her questions and his perceived attitude he had with her, right? So much. She was so mad about the way he responded to one of her questions. She wanted him fired. She said, if one of my employees ever talked to me this way, I would have them fired immediately. If you don't fire him, I'll never come back here. Now, her complaint allowed us to discuss with that therapist about the importance of how you say things. Tonality needs to be worked on with this guy. He had no idea how his tone was coming off as negative. He immediately changed it, and we never heard that complaint again. No, I did not listen to that client's request. She never came back. As a result, I'm not firing him just because that's what you would do, right? So we need to get better results. And those are the 3 ways we're going to get feedback from the clients. What's up, Spencer, man? Thanks for being here. Another way is we can go get services from other businesses, right? Inside and outside of your industry. This is one of the main things that I focus on, and how I've even created this process in the first place is just paying attention to what I love, what I didn't like, what can I implement and start doing in my business? How does this translate, right? How did this person greet me? How was the atmosphere, right? How did I feel walking into their bathroom or into their front room, or the how did the greeter or the server make me feel, right? How did other people who are around make you feel? Did I feel welcome, right? What are your feelings or thoughts about when you walked into their space, or when they sat you down at the table or chair, right? Did they talk too much? Did they complain about something? How did that make you feel as you're in their business? They're complaining about their boss, right? Did they step away and answer their phone? Did they answer their phone while they're massaging you or something, bro? Right? Go see people who charge more than you. Go see people who charge less than you. Right? I'm in the process of possibly buying this claw machine arcade, and I've already visited 5 other businesses to see what I like and don't like about their business. What can be improved? How did I feel? Did they greet me? How did I feel when I left? How did I feel with the length of time that I was in there? Spend $100 in 15 minutes. Am I upset about that, or am I pretty happy with the experience? Right? Paying attention to how you feel will give you some of the best insight around what your customer experience is and the type of experience you want to create. Right? This is exactly how I created my client whisperer system, which is the communication program that I created that goes into detail about how to provide the best results for your clients. Right? Anybody who coaches with me in person gets that in person. They get that training. If you coach with me online, I have an online version of that as well. Right? I've literally had clients ask me if I can read their mind, because I just pay attention to what I'm thinking on the table when I get a massage. Right? This allows me to again, this is always an area of improvement. So I'm not done improving here, but because I understand the client's experience, it allows me to understand the client's experience better than anyone else. I obsess over it. Right? Every time I have a thought that's not positive, I think to myself, how can I prevent this client from thinking this thought? What do I need to do in my service to prevent this from ever happening? Right? This is hands down one of the most important things in your business. right? The reason is because no matter what you do right, no matter how good your marketing is and branding, or what you do to get people in the door, or how well you follow up with people and how good your emails are and your personality, if you do not get the service right, people won't come back. When they come in, you will either meet their expectations or meet or exceed their expectations or disappoint their expectations. Right? You'll either meet or exceed their expectations or disappoint their expectations. Ideally, we want to be meeting and then exceeding their expectations. Most businesses overpromise and underdeliver. Good businesses underpromise and overdeliver. Great businesses overpromise and overdeliver. And that's exactly what implementing this process will do. Okay? So step 1, seek friction in the process. Step 2, elevate trust in your marketing, in your consultation, in every step of the business. You want to be elevating trust. Step 3, get results. You have to get results. Step 4 in this process, in this 5-star business process, is to verify and recommend. Verify and recommend. You want to confirm their results and then recommend a frequency. Confirm that they're happy and then recommend that they come back. It's really that simple. This comes for massage business, it comes in the form of an after session consult, right? So we want to check in on results, make sure they're feeling okay about the work, right? This gives me an opportunity to make up for any unmet expectations, right? This is one of the reasons I like to have 30 minutes in between clients, especially for new clients, because I give myself another 5 or 10 minutes to give a little bit extra to possibly get that desired result that they came in for, right? So when I'm checking in after the session, I want to encourage honesty here. I always want honest answers, even if it's hard to hear, right? Let's see. I had a client who wanted more scalp, face, and neck, right? Crushed that during the first session. The second one, not so much. But she was honest with me about her feedback and came in for a third and then was extremely happy again because I was able to get that feedback of what she wanted, apply it, and actually win her back, right? So I'll ask, like, how are you feeling? How are you feeling after the session? Is it better? Is it worse? Or is it kind of the same as when you came in? Now, a lot of people aren't asking that because they're afraid of the answer. You're afraid of the answer. You don't want to hear, I feel the same, or it's worse, because you don't know what to do next. If they're like, oh, I feel so much better, that's easy. That's easy, right? Is it better? Is it worse? Or is it kind of the same? Because if it's not better, well, now I have a little bit of time to make up for that. We could try something else, right? One of the keys here might be that before you want to measure range of motion before and after the session. That can help give them a visual. You might want to take pictures. How far can you squat down without pain? Depending on what the issue, how far can you bend over without pain? And you can show an after picture, because sometimes their pain level might feel the same, but they got way more range of motion, right? They got way more range of motion out of that muscle than they did before they experienced the pain, right? So we want to verify results by checking in, asking for honest answers, and then we want to recommend. We want to recommend a frequency to your clients to return. Now, I want you to have a mindset of service through this, right? By being honest. When you're making recommendations, you're recommending the right frequency for them. This is not a generic once a month like most of the chain places do, right? The goal is to get your clients the best and fastest results. This is why the consultation is so important. We want to be asking in the consultation, how long do your results normally last? So that we can get an idea of maybe what our recommendations should be, right? If the last massage got them feeling good for 2 weeks, my recommendation may be something similar, a week to 2 week range. And then we can slowly start to back off towards our goal from there, right? If they're normally able to go like a cool month without any pain, but they're in more pain now, then I might recommend 2 to 4 week return, depending on what they're going through. But I'm always going to take into consideration how bad and how frequent their pain is now, right? Is it every day, all the time, nonstop? Does it come and go? Or is it just occasional pain? Right? Do they have headaches every day? If you have a headache every day, is my recommendation going to be that you come back in a month? No. That's out of integrity. You're not making the best recommendation for the client. Right? These factors will make me recommend more frequent or less frequent. Once a girl said she can go several months without any pain. What do you think my recommendation was? Right? I told her that she can come in once a month would be my recommendation, or just as you feel is needed. That's it. Right? I'm not going to recommend, you know, more or less frequency than I believe that they need, because I don't think that's serving the customer well. When I make a recommendation, I do not consider the cost for them. I simply recommend what is best. Whether they can afford it or justify it is completely up to them. That is not my business. My business is to make the recommendation that I think would get you the best and fastest results. Your money, your finances, the client's finances are not my business. I don't concern myself with money. Why? My goal isn't to make money. My goal is to do what I think is best for the client. My goal is to serve them as best I possibly can. And I cannot, in good conscience, recommend once a month when I know that will not solve your problem. Right? Keep your focus on what the customer gets when you're making these recommendations, not on what you get. This is what a lot of you guys do. Is you'll make recommendations, but you feel, well, I don't know if they can afford it. You will never treat somebody like they cannot afford something. Could you imagine somebody treating you that way? Could you imagine somebody treating you like you couldn't afford something? You know how offensive that is? Stay out of their business. Their money is their business. Stay out of it. Sorry, I'm a little passionate about that. All right. So seek friction in the process. Elevate any negatives in your process from the time that they're looking at your website to the time that they come back. Seek friction and elevate these areas. Do not allow these to be negatives. Okay? Seek friction. Elevate trust, right? Elevate trust through the consultation, through your marketing. Everything that you do in your business should be elevating trust in the customer's mind that you are the solution to the problem, and then that should continue even after they come in, right? So seek friction, elevate trust, results. We have to get clients results. But the way that we do that is we are really good at the thing that we provide. We have to be good at the thing that we provide. Otherwise, nothing else matters. You will not be successful if your service, the thing that you do, your product is trash. You think you're good? I promise you, you can be better. You need to go figure out a way to actually get real feedback on the thing that you do, because most people are just going to lie to you. You're being lied to. They're not telling you the truth. So you need to get real feedback. It's one of the things that I provide my coaching clients is I get a service from them. I go to their business. If possible, if that's what they want, if they hire me for that portion, and I will give them real feedback on their process, on their massage, on their service, whatever it is they do, because it's one of the missing links in most people's businesses is they never hear what they're doing wrong or what can be improved. Okay, so we have to get results. We need to verify and recommend. So we're verifying those results. Did we get you the results that you expected? And then we need to recommend a frequency for them to come back in. Or, here's our membership. Actually do it. The claw machine businesses that I'm going to, some of them have memberships. Do you know how many of those people told me about the membership or tried to get me to sign up for that membership? 0. What do you think I'm going to change if I end up buying this one? Do you think every single person that comes in my business is going to hear about that membership? Absolutely. Absolutely. I asked my wife. My wife loves these claw machine places. I'm like, how come you have not signed up for one of these memberships yet? She's like, I don't know. They just never mention it. Just never mention it? What? Okay. And then the fifth thing we need to do, S-E-R-V is the E. We need to engage deeply, right? We need to nurture relationships and build connection, right? This is where you truly build something special in business. Right? We just have to love on people, right? Every day, especially as massage therapists, but really for any business, every day we have the opportunity to be the best part of somebody's day. The interaction that you have with somebody has the opportunity to be the best part of somebody's day, right? I heard this quote. I love this quote. It's on TikTok. It says, the faster you're moving, the more you're in fear. The more you're in fear, the more you're thinking about yourself. The more you're thinking about yourself, the less compassion and kindness you have for others. There is no love in hurried and stressed. The more that you're hurrying, the more that you're stressing, the more you're missing the magic. I absolutely love that quote. And I take a few different things away from it. One, never put yourself in a position in business where when you're growing, that you have high amounts of stress and are desperate and you're rushed to get clients, and every day you're frantic and coming off needy. This is not the energy of success, right? You're so focused on you and the money you need and the bills you're behind on, and you're not in the moment. You're stressed. You're missing the opportunities to create magic throughout your day and in your clients' lives. It is not a fun place to be. It is not a joyful process, and most can't handle it. And 2, love on people, man. Right? Bring a heart of service, right? Serve to succeed. Bring a heart of service in everything that you do. Slow down. Be in the moment with them. Take your time with them before and after the session. Be here. Be fully present, not on your phone, not thinking about the next client. Fully present with the person that is in front of you. That's not just good business advice. That's not good business advice. That's good life advice, right? I want to ensure that the people around me, whether that's a client, a family member, a friend, whoever I'm with, that they feel that I truly care about them. Nothing matters more than making people feel like they matter. How do we do that? We want to nurture relationships with our clients. There's 3 levels of this, right, that I implement in my business and I help other people implement. The first is the basic level, right? If you just do this level, you're honestly above 98% of businesses. The first thing we're going to do in the basic level is we're going to send a thank you card after their first visit, right? We're going to send a thank you card after their first visit. Who does this? Nobody. It's so simple. Nobody does it, right? So already at the basic level, you're doing more than 98% of businesses. Nobody does it. Second, we're going to do a 2-day check-in call or text. So we're going to send a thank you card. We're going to check in with them 2 days later to check in on the results again. How are you feeling? It's 2 days past your session. Are you sore? Are you hurting? Did the pain come back already? Again, I want to get feedback here, and there's reasons why as well. 3, you want to implement a system. Most like booking softwares have drip system emails or automated emails that you can schedule. Okay. So you have a 30, 60, 90-day drip system email or a 30, 60, 120-day check-in if they haven't been back. You have auto birthday emails, first visit anniversary emails, right? You want to get those scheduled and set up, right? So if you just do that, you're going to be better than 98% of businesses. The advanced level would be doing everything in the basic, right? Send a thank you card, 2-day check-in, get those emails set up, those auto emails. I started implementing this into my business where actually when they leave, I text them on the way to their car, thanking them one more time for coming in. My therapist, she didn't want to do this. The reason I started doing this is because I had a client do it to me. When she left, she texted me and said, I just want to thank you one more time. I feel so great. Thank you so much for your presence and your work and your skill. And it made me feel so good. I was like, you know what? I'm going to start doing that to clients and thanking them one more time for how great they were to work with. My therapist didn't want to do it. She was like, that's weird. I'm not doing it. So the next time she came and got a massage from me, I did it to her. And she left. And then on her way out to the car, I just said, hey, I just want to thank you one more time. Thank you so much for coming in today. I always look forward to our appointment and to working with you. You're always such a joy to work with and to be around. And I appreciate you. And she texted back, she was like, oh my God, thank you so much. Right. At our next meeting, I asked her, how did that make you feel? She was like, I loved it. And I've been doing it ever since. Right. I'm not trying to get anything out of this text message. I'm trying to give. I'm trying to serve in this process. Okay. So I text them on the way out to the car, thanking them one more time for coming in today. Do a handwritten birthday. You can do a birthday text from you or a handwritten birthday card, right? If they mention any anniversaries, right? Like, hey, it's my anniversary next week. Message them. Holiday texts. Hey, happy Mother's Day if you're a mom, right? We're going to start implementing value add follow-up here. This is a video. Hey, I saw this video for lower back pain. Thought of you. Send that, right? So that every contact that we have with this person, we are building a relationship long term. We are nurturing the relationship long term. I do not want the only time that my clients hear from me to be, hey, I have an opening. Did you want to come in? Hey, I had a cancellation on Tuesday. Did you want to come in? No. Holidays, St. Patrick's Day. You might skip Valentine's Day, right? Because that's not for them. Easter, 4th of July, whatever reason to just, hey, stay in contact. What happens in your relationships with personal relationships if you never contact them, or if the only time they hear from you, they want something, right? There's parents who don't like hearing from their children because the only time the child contacts them is when they want money. Oh, great. Here's this person calling again, probably to ask me for some money. That's not a good relationship. Business is all about relationships, and you want to nurture those relationships for the long term. Okay. Now, the expert level 3 ninja, this is expert ninja level. This is always do the unscalable. Do for one what you wish you could do for many, right? This is about creating real human connection. You start implementing this. This is a game changer. This will make you stand out. This is 99.9%. You're in the top 0.001%, right? If you do this, right? Now, this could be life event check-ins, connection calls, gift giving, and appreciation texts, right? There's a book called The Relationship Economy that I really liked. And the author called it, he says, finding the Ford, right? Ford stands for family, occupation, recreation, and dreams, right? Family, or I also say like family or favorite things. What, um, what are some of their favorite things, right? You're gonna get this information and pay attention to this information when you get it. Occupation, what do they do for work? Recreation, so like hobbies, upcoming vacations, and then dreams, what are their goals or aspirations that they have, right? Then what? Then what do you do once you have that information? Well, simply you take action, right? This is all about creating one size fits one moments. This is really where you start paying attention to this type of stuff and creating wow moments in your process and in people's lives, right? I had a client, her and I were talking about pizza. She's like, Pizza Hut has the best pizza. I said, you're crazy if you think Pizza Hut has the best pizza. She's like, it does, 100%. I'm like, have you ever had Marco's? And we're talking fast food pizza, right? Not like mom and pop shop. I'm like, you never had Marco's? She's like, no. I'm like, then how could you even have an opinion here? You don't know what you're talking about, right? So she's like, all right, I'll try Marco's. So what do? That day, I leave. I go home. There's a Marco's on my way home. I stop. I get a $25 gift card, and I mail it to her, right? This is something that is unique to her. This is not a big deal, but it is unique to her. This is a one size fits one moment. We were talking about something. She had no idea I was going to do it. What do you think happened when there was a handwritten card and a $25 gift card to try Marco's on me? She was ecstatic. She was blown away. She actually wrote me a card back thanking me, which I think is cool. And then she tried Marco's and converted because I'm right. Right. So that's one. Another one, a client of mine, she mentioned that she likes Starbucks. Again, these are not big things. She's like, yeah, Starbucks is my favorite place, my favorite coffee. I went and got her a $10 Starbucks card and emailed. I sent it in the mail with a handwritten thank you note, telling her that her next coffee was on me. Right. A client of mine got in a car accident. I found out she had to cancel because she had a really bad car accident, was in the hospital for several weeks. Right. So first, I called her. I just called her to check on her. Hey, I just wanted to check on you. How's it going? I know you're out of the hospital. What happened? And we just had a connection call. There's no agenda. I'm not trying to get an appointment booked. I just want her to know that I care about her beyond the money that she's giving me. Like, I spend an hour and a half with this lady once a month. She got in a big car accident. Why wouldn't I call her? And then I sent her a card with some brownies to her house. I just want her to know that I care about her. Right? I had another client that got in a bad accident. Called her just to find out about her and her accident and what's going on. That same client, before she's having neck pain, and one of the suggestions I gave her, because she's always looking down at her iPad, was to get an iPad holder. The next visit, she was like, I'm like, did you get it? She's like, no, I haven't gotten it yet. I'll get it. I know I need to get it. So that day I went on Amazon, same day service, bought it. It was like $21, sent it to her house. Got a text later. Thank you so much. I can't believe you did that. Right? It's just paying attention to the things that they say and then taking action on those things. We need to do this in business. More importantly, we need to do this in our personal lives and our relationships. Right? It's one of the biggest complaints in any relationship is that my spouse doesn't listen to me. I'm not a spouse counselor or anything like that, but my goodness, man. The impact that these gestures can have when you are present enough to have paid attention to what they said and then took action on actually doing something about it, it makes them feel so cared for, so seen, so valued when you do that. That they're and nobody does it. That's why this is expert ninja level stuff. Nobody does that, but you do, right? You also need to pay attention to these prompts or these intuitive hits that come up. I was walking through the mall one day and I seen those glass, those glass where they put the picture inside the glass, and it like looks cool. It's like all like lasered in there or something. For some reason, I was walking by there, and my renter popped into my head when I saw one of the glass things, and I remembered that her son went off to the military recently, and so I asked them like, how much would it be? It was like $90 for this. I went to her Facebook, pulled up a picture of her son with the flag behind him, and I bought that, right? For nothing. This was, I mean, it was around Christmas time, but it wasn't necessarily a Christmas gift. It was just an idea that I had that I took action on, right? I gave her that. She cried because I had no idea, right? She came back. She was like, the reason I'm crying is because, not because she's like, the gift is great, but she goes, you don't understand. Like, my mom bought me one of these when he was a baby, when he was just born. And then you bought me one when he became a man. That's the power of paying attention to your intuitive hits, right? A client was having a baby, and I sent her my favorite sound machine that we use in the car. It's like a mobile one, right? When I didn't have a ton of money, I would send, $5 gift cards when Babies R Us was still around to Babies R Us. It might be Target now. You know, here's a outfit on me for your new baby. Congratulations, right? One of my clients told me that, oh, our favorite place is Tropical Smoothie. Me and my daughter, we love it. We go there once a week. I went and got her a $10 gift card for Tropical Smoothie and a handwritten note, sent it to her, right? I keep a notes app on my phone. When I think of gifts for people, I write it down immediately because I don't want to lose it, right? You start implementing that in your business, it is a game changer. I had a client that said her favorite coffee was this place in San Diego. I wrote that down. I went and looked it up. I called. They never answered the phone, but I know the name of the place, and whenever I go out to San Diego, I'm going to get her that coffee. Right? I want to surprise and delight people wherever I can. I want to insert these one size fits one moments wherever I can. Right? Gift giving in bigger or smaller ways is honestly some of the most fun you're going to have in business and in life. It's so rare. Right? When's the last time somebody sent you a thank you card, let alone a gift card to a place you might have mentioned in a conversation briefly? Right? What do you think all of this leads to? If we seek friction in the process, if we elevate trust throughout our whole process, if we're able to get really great results, right? Uh, if we verify and make a recommendation for people to come back and we engage deeply with the people that are in front of us, when you get this process down, can business become so easy and so much fun? What do you think happens as a natural progression of doing all of that? Reviews and referrals, right? Remember, do what you do so well that I want to come back and I want to bring my friends. If you had provided this type of experience for people, what do you think the chances are that they send people to you? What do you think the chances are that they'd leave you a review if you asked for one? This is why I say if we can get this right, everything that needs to happen to ensure you get full price is easier. Marketing is easier. Getting reviews is easier. Referrals come in easier. Long term clients, people coming back over and over and over again, signing up for your membership, buying your packages is easier. People promoting you on their social media is easier. Everything is easier when we get this process down. Look, I want you to win in business. And I want you to make a great living and a great income. I want you to improve your business skills and get better at your craft to get better results. The reason I want those things is so that people can actually get the blessing that is you. So just love on people, man. Care enough about what you do to improve your service in your business. Serve people, right? Now, what we just went over right now is a sales process. I call it a serving process because I never want people to feel sold. If you're really good at sales, it feels like service. I want them to feel cared for and always feel that I have their best interests at heart. Always. I want them to always feel that I am going to do the right thing by them. Right? I got a passion for business. I have a passion for helping people get better at business and improve their business skills and their service skills. But it's because I have a God given passion for serving our fellow human being. Now, if what we went over resonates with you, if you'd like to have support around this and developing this in your business, go to the link in the Unreasonable Life community and book your free clarity call. Or you can go to michaelortizjr.com and click the free consultation call. Right? We'll go over the challenges in your business. We'll see what the right options for you might be. We'll be able to get you some clarity around maybe why you've done well up to this point, why you're not growing, right? So even if we don't end up working together, there's a lot of positives that come out of this phone call for people, right? Maybe you'd like to get your team trained in this process that I've created. It's been a game changer for everyone that's learning. I'm not just saying that, right? I went to Virginia to teach her a therapist and her other person she had working for her. That therapist was rebooking nobody. The next month had a $2,000 increase due to rebookings and package sales. In Delaware, when I went to go visit this other therapist and her six people, packages weren't being sold. Right? Rebookings were not happening. Right? From a 1-day training, all 6 of her therapists were messaging me, "Hey, rebooked 3 clients today. Sold 4 packages today." Right? I don't remember the numbers. It's been a while now. I think she had the next month, it was like 54 rebookings or something like that when they just were not getting them before. Right? One of the therapists who just wasn't growing a clientele in that business went from being one of the worst to being the second at rebooking clients. Another coaching client came out to spend the day with me in person to learn these things. The next day, she had one new client. Before our workshop in person, she has not been able to rebook anybody. After she sold her first package, right? That very next client, she sold a package for $620. Her first package 1 day later, and then got that client scheduled for multiple visits. Right? I use this process when I hire therapists. I use this. I can literally tell when they are not doing the process because I can see if they're rebooking people or not. Right? I remember when I was training one therapist, the next week after I trained her, she's rebooking, 7 out of 8 clients. And then a couple of weeks, now she's at like 1 out of 5, 2 out of. I'm like, okay, so you're not doing it. You're not doing the process. She's like, I know, I just forget. I'm like, so we have to retrain and continue to work on that. Right? So I've used this process with my therapist. I can literally tell when they're not doing it. So if you have therapists in your business, can you tell when they aren't doing your process? Right? That's how good this works. Right? All I hear every day when they have new clients and they're doing this process is, hey, I sold 2 packages today. I rebooked 3 out of my 5 clients today. Right? In February, a therapist went through this with me in person, brand new to business. As soon as he started learning these things, he sold his first ever package for $480. never sold a package before, and had that person asking him, hey, when should I come back? This is what I mean by it makes business incredibly easy, right? So look, I'd love to help you implement this into your business or with your team. So if you're interested in that, book the consultation and call. Book the consultation call if you're interested, or the clarity call if you're interested. Thank you guys so much for joining this webinar on the 5-star business process. I hope this at least inspired you to up-level your service in your business and create an unforgettable experience for the clients that are coming into your business. You can do this on your own. You can take this information and take off with it, or you can seek me out for support if you'd like. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you being here. I hope you have an amazing day.